These are for winners.
Combos. What your mom would feed you if your mom were a man.
I'm really excited about this one. Today we're looking at a Naya combo deck that just crams every combo ever into the same deck. It's absolutely insane. Vivien can search for the pieces, and there's just so many interactions, it gets absurd. The MVP, oddly enough, is Lavabrink Venturer. How Lavabrink Venturer? Let's check it out. Holy shit, there is so much going on in this deck. Let's start with the first combo. Okay, we've got Terror of the Peaks and Yasharn Implacable Earth. Now what's interesting is Terror of the Peaks, obviously its first ability is any creature comes into play while Terror is in play. Terror is going to deal damage equal to that creature's power to any target, which is insane. If you can keep Terror on the board, it can do so much work. All of your creatures double as removal spells or as direct damage to the head if you just need to close out a game, and it can be really powerful. The problem with Terror, you can't get it to stick around. It becomes an instant target for removal, basically paint a giant target on its forehead. Like, it never survives. So what we do here is we play Yasharn, Implacable Earth. Now, when Yasharn is in play, first of all, when he comes into play, you'll get to search your deck for a forest and a plains and put them into your hand, which is kind of gravy, but there is more combo potential that we dig into with that later on. We'll get to that later. But the part that is relevant with Terror of the Peaks is the second ability. Players can't pay life or sacrifice non-land permanents to cast spells or activate abilities. Now, Terror's primary ability here is, in addition to another ability, which is spells your opponents cast that target Terror of the Peaks cost an additional 3 life to cast. Now, if Yasharn's in play, players can't pay life to cast spells. Therefore, they can't cast a spell that targets Terror of the Peaks because they can't pay the life, which means they can't hit Terror of the Peaks with any removal spells. Basically, Yasharn makes Terror of the Peaks have hexproof, which is insane. You can get Terror to stick around, and even if you can only get them to stick around for one turn because they have to waste their turn killing Yasharn and then wait until their next turn to have enough mana to then kill Terror, just that one turn alone is enough for you to play out a couple creatures, kill a couple things, and get so much advantage on board because of it that you can turn the tide of the game. But if he sticks around for even more than that, it gets absurd. Now, an enabler for this combo is a second combo, which is Vivien, Monster's Advocate. Now, Vivien's interesting because she has a lot of really cool abilities. You can look at the top card of your library at any time. You can cast creatures from the top of your library, which means she has built-in card advantage because you can get things into play without having to play them from your hand. Her +1 loyalty ability gives you a 3/3 beast creature token that can have either reach, vigilance, or trample, which depending on the situation can all be really, really good and really effective in this deck. But it's the -2 ability that makes it special. Now, when you take off 2 loyalty counters and use the -2 ability, the next creature spell that you cast will trigger the ability to then search your deck for any creature that costs less than that creature and put it onto the battlefield. This gets absurd with Terror and Yasharn because if you have a Vivien down and you go -2 loyalty, you then play Terror. Terror triggers the ability. You then search your deck for something that costs less than 5 mana, find Yasharn, put Yasharn into play before the Terror resolves. What's important to note here is the ability putting Yasharn into play from your library that Vivien triggers, that resolves before the original Terror of the Peaks resolves. So Yasharn will come into play, and then Terror will come into play and immediately not be able to be targeted by a removal spell, which means there is no window for your opponent to kill Terror when you play Terror. They have to kill Yasharn first, and then they can kill Terror. And a lot of times, like I said before, this is just enough to buy you the turn that you need to really do a lot of work with Terror, put a lot of work in, and then also add more things to your board the next turn that makes it so maybe even Terror isn't the primary target for them after that. So, awesome combo. But we've got another 2-card combo that works well with the Vivien downtick as well. And that combo is Ancient Greenwarden and Ashaya, Soul of the Wild. Now this is really, really cool and really techy. Now Ashaya makes it so that all of your creatures are considered forests. Non-token creatures, excuse me, are considered forest lands in addition to their other types. And she has power and toughness, each equal to the number of lands you control. So, if you have an Ancient Greenwarden down, the Ancient Greenwarden's ability is if a land entering the battlefield causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. So if you have Ashaya down and Ancient Greenwarden, now any enters the battlefield ability that triggers when you play a creature will trigger twice. It doesn't have to be a landfall ability because every creature is considered a land and every land entering the battlefield triggers twice. So if you play Yasharn with this 2-card combo in play, Yasharn's going to search up 2 forests, 2 plains, not just 1. If you have a Terror in play, whatever creature you play is going to trigger Terror twice, and you're going to do damage equal to its power not just once to anything you want, but twice to anything you want. You could play 1 creature, kill 2 of their creatures, or do double damage to their head, or kill a creature and hit them in the head. The combinations are limitless. And again, this is a 2-card combo that can be fetched up with Vivien's downtick. You -2 when you play the Ancient Greenwarden, and then you use the Greenwarden to go through and find Ashaya. And then there's actually ways to combo these combos together where, like say you already have an Ashaya in play, and you downtick Vivien, and you search for Ancient Greenwarden, or you play rather Ancient Greenwarden, you can then use its ability to, instead of finding Ashaya because you already have it, you can find Terror. Or you can find Yasharn. If you find Terror, the Terror comes into play first, and then Ancient Greenwarden resolves, triggers Terror. It gets insane. The fact that Ashaya's power and toughness are equal to the number of lands you control, and now all of your creatures are lands, means she's coming into play huge. So if you have a Terror in play, when she comes into play, you get to do insane damage to something. And if you have the combo in line when she comes in play, she then gets to do that twice. She gets to trigger Terror twice. It's absolutely mind-boggling how awesome this can be. Now, obviously, it's 3 colors. These cards are expensive cards, so it takes a lot to get there. But the amount of work you can put in with this combo is nuts. So we're going to start at the beginning of the curve and go through the rest of what's in the deck. We've got 4 Lotus Cobras to capitalize on the concept of landfall that we're already kind of pushing towards. And this will help you get the mana you need to drop some of these cards quicker than you otherwise would be able to. Which, in a deck like this that needs a lot of mana, where the cards we're playing are mana intensive, having that Lotus Cobra is great. A lot of times the Lotus Cobra is just going to eat removal. You know, you play it on turn 2 and it dies, so it won't actually fulfill its purpose. But honestly, even just making them waste one of their removal spells in their hand on a Lotus Cobra, a lot of times can be enough, because then you play one of your business creatures later that's a real threat, and they don't have that removal spell to use on it anymore. So either way, Lotus Cobra ends up being great. Rounding out the 2-drops, we have Charming Prince. Now, Charming Prince is great because you can drop it early to scry to get the lands that you need to push forward and curve out the way the deck needs to. But you can also use its second ability to exile another creature you own and then return it to the battlefield under your control at the beginning of the next end step. And this is great because if you have the combo in play, his ability will trigger twice. So you can do any combination of these things, 2 of them. You could scry 2 twice, you could gain 3 life, so gain 6, or you could exile 2 creatures until end of turn and then return them both to play at end of turn, or any combination. And this gets really absurd if you then exile 2 creatures that have enters the battlefield abilities, and then both of those creatures coming back into play trigger each of their enters the battlefield abilities twice because you have the combo, and it just gets really out of hand. If you have Terror of the Peaks in play as well, like Charming Prince will do 2 damage, and then remove 2 creatures, and then both of those will come into play and trigger their abilities twice, and then also each of them will trigger Terror twice, and it just, the shit you can do is absurd. Now moving on to the 3-drops, we have 4 Skyclave Apparitions because we need removal, but also because since it's removal on a stick, it's on a creature, we can then also abuse the combo. We can also have more ways to abuse Charming Prince. So if this comes down with the combo in play, you get to remove 2 things. If you have a Charming Prince in hand, you could play Charming Prince, remove the Apparition, bring it back, remove another thing. So it's really, really great in this deck. We've also got 3 copies of Llanowar Visionary, because again, it helps us ramp to the mana we need. It draws us cards to dig deeper into our deck, but it's also another target that we can hit with Charming Prince to re-trigger the draw card ability, or that we can use with the combo later on. So if we play it late in the game and we have the combo online, we can draw 2 cards instead of 1. Really, really helpful. And then we have 1 Lavabrink Venturer. We're going to get to this later. This is going to be the last card we get to. Moving on. We've got 2 copies of Yasharn. I'd love to fit more, but we can search for him with Vivien, so it's not necessary. He is great to curve into, though. We have 1 Nylea Keen-Eyed because we have a lot of green pips in this. A lot of times, all we need is just a Vivien, and then any one of our combo pieces, like Ashaya or Greenwarden. We can have Kogla and one of our 1-pip things. There's so many combinations of things we can have in play that turn Nylea on. So not only is it great in that regard, but it makes all of our creatures cost 1 less. Almost the entire deck is creatures, so that's awesome. And its 3 ability, its 3 mana ability, is actually really useful. Because if we have Vivien in play, we know what the top card of our deck is. So if it's a creature and we can't play it that turn from the top of our deck, we can at least gain card advantage by activating Nylea's other ability for 3 mana and putting it into our hand, knowing full well ahead of time that it's a creature and it's definitely going to go into our hand. Whereas under normal circumstances, you pay the 3 and it's kind of a crapshoot. If it's a creature, it goes into your hand, but you don't know if it's a creature, and you might just have to put it in your graveyard. We've also got 1 copy of Legion Angel, which is freaking awesome in this deck. Obviously, Legion Angel is a powerful card anyway, because you put just 1 in your deck and 3 copies in your sideboard. And when you play it, you fetch another one, and then you play that one and you fetch another one. So just drawing the 1 Legion Angel gets you a ton of card advantage. But what makes it great in this deck is not only will playing it with the combo online trigger it multiple times so that you can fetch out multiple copies of Legion Angel from your sideboard with just 1 activation, but regardless of whether you have the combo online, you can use Vivien, down ticker, play any creature that costs 5 or more, and then search your library for the Legion Angel. So the downside of only having the 1 copy of Legion Angel in your deck and it being hard to find, which is the problem with most decks that Legion Angel's in, it gets really mitigated because you can find it at any time with Vivien. And then you can start to gain insane card advantage off of it like you normally would if you had drawn into it organically. So it's really, really, really powerful in this deck because we're running 4 Viviens. We've also got 1 Kogla at the top end because his fight ability is awesome if we can trigger it twice, if we have the combo in play, or being able to fight and trigger Terror is awesome. But there's some extra edge value here where when he's in play, you can actually return Charming Prince to your hand in order to activate his second ability that gives him indestructible until end of turn. Requires you to pay 2 mana and return a human you control to owner's hand to give him indestructible. So you can return the Charming Prince, give him indestructible so that he survives a piece of removal or a bad combat encounter, and then replay the Charming Prince and re-trigger the Charming Prince's abilities. And then have it in play ready to use to give Kogla indestructible again. Can be nuts. We can really only afford to fit 1 copy in. It is legendary. It's not the core of what the deck's trying to do. But in a deck that's really trying to find whatever ways we can to fit some removal in, when the majority of the deck needs to be creatures, having a Kogla is an awesome addition. And then the final card at the top end is the Great Henge. We need ways to draw cards. Sometimes we can run out of steam. It's legendaries, so not having more than one isn't the worst thing ever. And just the one can make a lot of difference. We have so many big creatures in this deck that the Great Henge can come down fairly early for a fairly cheap cost, and then continue to draw a ton of cards as we play creatures off of it. So the mana base, we've got 4 Fabled Passage and 1 Evolving Wilds, because mathematically, we want to make sure we have at least 1 sack land by the time we drop a Greenwarden. That way we can get the most bang for our buck out of Greenwarden's first ability there. You may play lands from your graveyard. So if we have 5 sack lands, statistically that means 1 in every 12 cards. By turn 6, we've gone through the top 12 cards of our deck. So theoretically, by the time we play the Greenwarden for 6 mana, we've seen one of our sack lands if we have 5. So that's why we include the 5th sack land, just 1 Evolving Wilds. The rest of the mana base is really balanced to find a good distribution between basics we can search up with Yasharn and the sack lands, and dual lands that we can make sure we can use to make sure we hit the colors we need when we need them. So we've got 1 Branchloft Pathway, 2 Needleverge Pathway, 2 Cragcrown Pathways, and then we've got 4 forests, 2 mountains, and 5 plains. We've also got 1 copy each of the 3 the Bolt lands that are in the Naya colors. So we've got Emeria's Call, which is awesome because a lot of times we fill up our board with creatures. This will give them all indestructible until our next turn. And a lot of times if we can just make our board survive that 1 turn, it's enough to completely overpower our opponent. But even if we don't have a board, this also generates 2 4/4 white angels, which on its own is pretty awesome. If we make it to the late game, we have enough ramp to get this off sooner than we normally might. But if we also have a terror in play, each of those angels is going to trigger the terror. So this can be a really, really great late game card. We've also got Turntimber Symbiosis, which in this deck is great because a lot of times we're searching for our combo pieces. So late game, we still have a Turntimber Symbiosis in our hand, or we top deck one. We can just use it to search out whichever creature is most needed in the moment, and really start to get our combos online. We've also got 1 Shatterskull Smashing, which, as I said before, this deck is really trying to fit in removal wherever it can because it's light on removal. So even just the 1 Shatterskull Smashing can be really, really key as just that 1 extra removal spell to bump up our removal numbers to a place that's a little bit more consistent. With the 4 Skyclave Apparitions, 4 Terror of the Peaks, 1 Kogla, and 1 Shatterskull Smashing, we kind of have just enough removal that we can deal with the really big problem cards that our opponents tend to play. Now, the last card that I really want to talk about, and I know this deck tech has gone on a while, but there's just so many combos, there's just so much synergy and so much to go over. But the last card I want to talk about is Lavabrink Venturer. Now, Lavabrink Venturer is pretty cool. 3-drop, 3/3. When it comes into play, you choose odd or even, and it has protection from anything that has that mana cost, which is really, really cool. You can give it protection from half the things that are trying to kill it, basically, or half the creatures on your opponent's side, on average. But in a deck like this, we really push it to 11, because if we have the combo online, all of our creatures enters the battlefield abilities trigger twice, which means when we play Lavabrink Venturer, we get to trigger it twice. We choose odd, and then we choose even. And now Lavabrink Venturer has protection from everything. If it comes into play with a Great Henge in play, it also gets a +1/+1 counter, becomes a 4/4 that has protection from everything. And even with it just being a 3/3 or a 4/4, protection from everything cannot be downplayed. Like, it's unblockable, it's unkillable, it can block anything and survive. It's crazy. We only run the 1 copy because we really, really need the consistency of our early drops the way they are. We need the Visionaries so that we can ramp and draw into what we need. But we have Vivien, and we can basically play almost any creature in the deck anything that's 4 or higher, and downtick Vivien and search out the Venturer. So if we have the combo online and we need the Venturer, we downtick Vivien, we find it, and we go to town. But seeing it play out is insane. Also, the fact that Yasharn, not Yasharn, where is it? The Ashaya, turning all of our creatures into lands, has a ton of upside value in that things that can target non-land permanents, removal that targets non-land permanents, can't target your creatures anymore when Ashaya is out. So if they play like Banishing Light can't target any of your creatures because it targets a non-land permanent. Same with Apparition. Targets a non-land permanent. They can't Apparition any of your creatures. There's so many cards that have to target non-land permanents in particular that can no longer target any of your creatures when you have Ashaya in play. And that's a huge upside that I didn't even take into account when I was first building the deck, but it shows up in some of the games. So I'm really, really excited to show you guys these games. They're super fun, and the deck is really, really cool. Let's not wait any longer. Let's dive in. So it sucks that we have 2 of our 3 Bolt lands in hand, but we do have all of our colors because of it. So we'll keep this. We'll keep 7. We're hoping that we somehow draw into a Plains. What we're going to do here is we're going to lead with the Turntimber Symbiosis. God damn it, Loot. Someone in chat just redeemed no coffee. Our good friend Loot. So I'm not allowed to drink coffee, and that's going to be painful. Anyway, we lead with Turntimber Symbiosis, because we're going to need the green. We'll play Plains turn 2, and hope that sometime in the next 2 turns we draw into another Plains, because then we're primed to play a turn 3 Apparition. And regardless, as long as we get another land, we can play a turn 4 Yasharn. Alright, we're just going to aim to play the Visionary turn 3. Fuck. I just went to grab my coffee and remembered I can't. Here. Here. Oh. You redeem Nectar of the Gods. I get to finally drink my coffee again. Oh, you're a saint. Thank you for your mercy. I was about to put that thing on the coffee table, just so I wouldn't be tempted. Okay, he plays an Orator. He's playing some kind of weird Selsnya Clerics deck, I think. So we got Visionary. We don't have the second white, but we will after we play Yasharn. Oh, we do have the second white. Do we want to play Yasharn? Or do we want to play Ashaya? We could play Ashaya. I think it's better to get the more expensive thing out first. Alright. Now each of these are forests. Everything in my hand, all the creatures are forests. Which means they can also tap for mana, which is pretty awesome. Banishing Light. Kind of okay with that though, because we can just Apparition the Banishing Light. Show. Let's see. 1, 2. Why didn't you? Oh, because they're both lands. He couldn't Banishing Light either of our creatures because they're lands, and Banishing Light targets non-land permanents. This is amazing. This deck is so good. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We could have 7. We could have 7. I think we just gotta play the Greenwarden, right? We'll play a land. We'll play the Greenwarden. And then we'll swing. Oh my god. Bring it on, baby. Destroy a non-land permanent. I'm sorry. Chat, did you see what we just did? This is glorious. I think he's abandoning the fuse. Yep. Bye. See you later. I feel confident in the deck. We just need to actually not have an awful hand. Which this might be. We're gonna try it. But I mean, we have no white mana and 2 apparitions, which is bad. And then 2 green wardens, which are going to take quite a while to play. So, he's playing ready. Definitely nukes the Cobra. We could play another Cobra. Probably just nuke it again. Damn it. Pass turn. If possible, I want to save that land to trigger Cobra to make another white to play Apparition to kill his giant. Obviously, if he kills our Cobra again, there goes that plan. Yay. He didn't. Which means we might actually have a chance. So next turn we'll have 6 mana and we can play a green wood. If he doesn't kill the Cobra. He's gonna take the Cobra. Well, he didn't kill the Cobra. Green. White. Green. Green. Try that. No tax. So if the apparition dies, he still gets a 3/3. Which is interesting. Ow. Another one? Blocks. It's painful. We've got no lands. Could eat the Llanowar here to get back my Green Warden. It's probably the best bet. Although when he kills the apparition, he's going to get a 4/4. Which is kind of rough. We'll grab white. We'll grab white. We'll crack this. We're gonna find a mountain. We'll grab green. We'll grab green. Do we want another Greenwarden? No. We want a Vivien. Vigilance.
I love making new friends.
Alright, so Lotus Cobra will die here. But at this point we have enough land. And we can use Greenwarden to reuse our Fabled Passages. So it feels kind of okay. Feels good.
Who's ready for some hot-headed action?
Interesting. We're gonna find a forest. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Down tick. We'll play Greenwarden. This is gonna be gross. Are you ready for this? Find terror. Triggers 3 times. Right? Oh no, it only triggers the one. Because we don't have Ashaya. But even that is enough. That is enough.
You bet I'm mad about this.
Here we go. We got him. Of course we got him. This is probably fine. We can search for a plains. Turn 2, play Charming Prince, scry into another land. Turn 3, play Visionary. All of that seems wonderful. Sure. I'll never understand people doing it during their own turn, though. But that's fine. Find the plains. We'll play the forest. We'll play the prince. I'm not going to play the Cobra yet. Because more than likely, both of those are good. Right? The Visionary and the Cobra die. The Charming Prince is going to be kind of rough. Let's keep the pathway, but put away the prince. Share. Done. Should probably play the game, huh? Alright, if I Lotus Cobra, land, I've only got 2 more mana and can't cast anything. So, I think I'm okay going like this. Now I can block his Innkeeper, so he won't attack. If he wants to kill the Visionary, it's kind of a waste of his removal spell. Which feels good. Yeah, he's just gonna play the Bone Crusher Giant out. Right off the bat. Alright, so if I play the Cobra and then the Passage, I'll have another 5 after playing the Cobra. With which to play Terror. It's probably the smartest play. Go red. We're gonna fetch a Plains. We're gonna grab another red. And then we're gonna play a Terror. Now he's gonna have to remove the Terror. Does he have a second Bone Crusher? I don't know. Just that. We'll take 5. Does he have an Embercleave, maybe? No, let's get the Scorching Dragonfire. But I mean, we get rid of the Innkeeper and a Dragonfire with our 1 card. So even though we hate to see it go, it's not awful. That's kind of awful. That's unfortunate. Alright, we'll play Greenwarden. Next turn we should be able to play Great Henge pretty easily. And then maybe use the Great Henge to play another Greenwarden. What does he have that can do an extra 3 mana? I mean, he's got to have something, right? No blocks. I don't know what it could possibly be. Maybe he just has 2 removal spells he was going to double up. I'm okay going to 9. Making sure we get to crack this, then play this next turn. And then at that point, if we need to lose a Greenwarden to one of his tricks, that's fine. At that point, it's fine. Grab another red. 2, 3. Oh, we only have 5 mana. That's unfortunate. I thought we were going to have 6. I think it's because the Lotus Cobra's gone. That's okay though, we'll still gain 2 life. We have a big blocker. This guy can prevent the Innkeeper from attacking. I don't think he can afford to attack with anything. Can he? Gain your life. We'll say go. Alright. So, we should probably wait to play the land. We might draw into something, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. Play another Greenwarden. Counter and draw. Fabled Passage, back to Fabled Passage. Find a green. Play Lavabrink Venturer. We're gonna go odd. Put a counter on it, draw a card. No attacks. We're in a pretty good position now. Granted, he also has a Great Henge and an Innkeeper. So he can probably draw cards at a greater rate than us. But our creatures are so much bigger. And he does have more dead cards to draw into because he's playing like removal and things that aren't creatures that he can hit with the Great Henge. Damn it. Venturer cannot block Questing Beast. Here's what we do. You. You. And you. Block. We take the 5. Oh. That was not smart, I think. I don't know. Yeah, the protection doesn't... Wait, what? What? That doesn't make sense. I had protection from Odd. That doesn't make any sense. Lavabrink Venturer had protection from Odd mana. And blocked a Kazandu Mammoth, which had an odd mana cost. That doesn't make any sense. That's a glitch. That's a glitch. It's counting it as an even mana cost because of the land side. The land side is technically considered even mana cost. That's a glitch. And that's dumb. We lost because of a glitch. We'll keep this. This is decent. We're going to lead with a forest. Because if we happen to draw into a plains next turn, we'll play that instead of the pathway. There is a small chance that we get enough white without the pathway. We don't get any more green. And we end up dropping that pathway way later as a green so that we have a third green for Kogla. So, it is worth holding off if you can. Let's see. Lotus Cobra or Charming Prince? That's the question. We'll just Charming Prince. Scrying is worthless because he's just going to make us mill. So we'll just gain 3 life here. And we will absolutely chump block if we get the opportunity. If he spends a card and his turn getting rid of the prince, we're okay with that as well. Alright, holding them off. Okay, we could play the Cobra. Trying to think. What does he have for removal in this deck? Blood Chief's Thirst and Drown in the Loch. Blood Chief's Thirst is 1 mana. Thieves Guild Enforcer is 1 mana and will eventually have Death Touch. So we're gonna do Odd. Means he can't hit it with Blood Chief's Thirst. He can't kill it with Thieves Guild Enforcer. He can hit it with Drown in the Loch. And he can hit it with the other one. The other 2 mana one there. I forget what it's called. Off the top of my head. The one that either kills a creature without counters or removes counters, if it has counters. That's the one we don't want to see. If we make him waste his Drown in the Loch on the Venturer, we're happy about that. Because then he can't Drown in the Loch something here. And that's fine. Okay, he discarded Xerath. It's not bad for us. Play Fabled Passage, I can go 2, 3, 4. If I go Lotus Cobra, Passage for green, Lotus Cobra, Crack Passage, and then have 3 mana. Seems not great. Do I have other options? Might not have any other options. Passage. We'll go green. Play the other Lotus Cobra. Now if I crack it here, I'll get 3 mana, and that won't be enough to do anything. So I might as well wait until next turn. At least one of those should survive through next turn. Pass turn. So he's gonna draw a card. He did. No, he didn't. He just drew his card for the turn. So maybe he has another Xerath in his hand and that's why he discarded it. Just him. He's gonna discard. I mean, I'm also okay with him losing card advantage from discarding. So I mean, whatever, man, you do you. He's gonna turn it to Xerath. Steal my Apparition. And take out a Lotus Cobra with it. That's not that. Not really that much of a problem. He can't hit my Venturer. And the Venturer can block Xerath all day from this point on. And he's tapped out. I kinda don't care what he does. Apparition doesn't do a lot for him. And Visionary doesn't do a lot for him. He can't target the Venturer with the Apparition, which is the big problem. So he decides to hit the Charming Prince. I'm more than okay with that. My turn. Alright, so 4, 5, 6. We can have 6 mana. Naya costs 4, leaves us with 2, but then everything costs 1 less. Which would be 3, which still wouldn't be enough to play another creature. So we get to play one thing. What's the most important thing to play? Probably Vivien. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say Vivien. Red. Green. Red. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Nylea would be awesome, but we're gonna do Vivien.
The Arcbow quivers with excitement.
Now, what do we do? Do we do reach in case he has a flyer? He's not gonna have a flyer with... He's not gonna have a flyer with haste.
I call, and
No
Decoria
attacks.
answers.
He's gonna have to do some shit if he wants to kill Vivien. He's definitely gonna have to lose some stuff. Our only Liege Angel is now in the graveyard, which sucks. That's coming at me, that's coming at Vivien, that's coming at Vivien. So, this one's got Menace. I think we need Vivien to survive. What do we have in here? He could take any permanent. That would be really bad for us at this point. We've got good things now. So we're gonna block here. And then we're gonna block like this. And then we're gonna take, Vivien's gonna take the 3.
I will not be quelled.
That's not so bad. That is not so bad. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's not gonna do what we want, really. What we could do is Charming Prince to try to make sure a Lotus Cobra lands on top. So that we can play the Lotus Cobra? Nope. That is not gonna work. Do that. He's just gonna mill us. And we want the Greenwarden to go bye-bye, if that's what happens.
Diversity is our greatest strength.
No attacks. So he can discard his only card to Ghostly Pilferer, to swing the Pilferer at Vivien and kill Vivien, if he wants. I don't think that's the right play. But apparently that's what he's doing. That is fine. What else are you doing? Well, it was a land, so I guess that made the decision easier.
Seems I need to evolve too.
I guess that's it. You can draw a card with Wind Robber. I don't think he really wants to yet. That's really frustrating because I thought for sure that was going to get scryed away. Which was the whole reason I left it on top. And now that hurts me because I needed a land. So I guess we just make the only play we can, which is Nylea. And we don't have enough devotion to green. So all it does right now is make my creatures cost 1 less. Which, I mean, could end up mattering. Doesn't yet. No attacks. We gotta stay on the defensive for now. Pays the 2, draws the card. This is a game right here. I don't know how much longer I can hold out. I've got a decent amount of cards left in my deck, thankfully. He's kind of out of gas. So what it's looking like is I probably chump block Xerath with the Lavabrink because it won't die. Trade the Charming Prince for the Thieves Guild Enforcer. Block the Flyer with the Reach Dude. Ow. Well, at least he used the Drown in the Lock, which was the problem. Alright, so here's what we do. Boom. Boom. Trade 1 for 1. He probably kills the Reach guy. But he loses his Xerath. That's pretty good for us. We've got Greenwarden if we can just get 1 more land. Hey, land. Alright, hold on. If I make red, terror comes down. I got 1 left over. Then I make another mana, get another mana. I've got 3. I don't think... I guess the 3 can be used for Nylea. It's probably better to do it this way. We'll find a white. Because the chances that we need to play Apparition are greater than the chances that we need to play another Terror. Oh, we don't have another red anyway. We'll make another red. We'll go Terror. Which he can't quite deal with yet. That leaves us with 3 mana. We'll probably just hold up the Greenwarden as a bluff. And then spend the 3 mana for Nylea at the end of his turn. Alright. We just need to hope he doesn't get lucky and top deck a piece of removal for Terror. Because that would shift the game in his favor. Sure. Lotus Cobra, Shatterskull Smashing. Pass to attackers. Swings in with that. We will trade with the Prince. I'm fine with that. End of turn, we'll activate Nylea. Come on, Lady Luck. Aha, Apparition. Glorious. So, generate green. We'll play Greenwarden. If we got him now, Greenwarden will kill Scavenger. Apparition. We go boom boom to you. And we apparition you. And then we kill you. And then we swing. That was a pretty good turn. That was a pretty good turn. He should be out of gas enough that he can't come back from this. There's the Pilferer. Down the lock. Alright, that helps at least. I don't think it helps enough, but it helps. Kind of wanted to test that. I was pretty sure I couldn't play that as a spell, but I wasn't 100%. And now I am. Pretty sure we just win here. There we go. Pretty good. This deck's a ton of fun, and we are just scratching the surface when it comes to the combos that are open to you when you're playing this baby. So anyway, give us a like, subscribe somewhere here-ish, and check out other Magic videos somewhere over here. And then check out maybe some of my PlayStation and console gaming coverage over there. And until next time, hopefully Magic Arena doesn't glitch on you and make it so that when you get protection from odd mana costs, you actually have protection from odd mana costs. I can't believe that commercial's real. That shit is so unacceptable.